the deputy of the CEO, deputy managing director of the INTOUCH. Good afternoon, analyst. For INTOUCH, I don't think it's gonna take a lot of time. I invited Kun Kim. If you notice that we have the booth of the venture capital, about 6 of them, you probably don't see the product. It's a platform and a digital. And Kun Kim can update to us about the VC that we had done, the progress and the future potential. Performance, you had listened to the AIS and Thaicom. You see that Thaicom has challenges and they have to do the impair, and they did not announce the annual dividend. But anyway, because of the CS lost profit, so they had the interim dividend, and they have about 0.19 satang per share. But this one we did not put into the annual because we want to communicate direct message with the investor about the dividend that we have is from the AIS, and the other one come from Thaicom. In terms of the impact that we have from the Thaicom contributed less than 3% as the overall picture. And if the shareholders concerned about the dividend that you have, I would say less than 3%. But for the AIS, for the performance last year, because of the higher income, but because of the cost structure, the profit came down about 0.9%, but AIS can deliver close to previous year. But the ability to pay out, we have to look at in many sectors, that we have the sector in CapEx, the new license, and if we have to adjust, it's going to be the sustained adjustment. It's not just a matter up and down according to the situation. I want it to be sustained. So that is the overall picture of the dividend stock. We want to maintain to be a dividend stock. For the discount, if you look at it, the yield would be more, is a preference of the investor to see that if you want it to be higher than the AIS. The direction is more or less about the same. I look at the tower, which the asset management. We want to share, we can share about what the INTOUCH is doing. The KPI of us linked to the linked to the AIS and Thaicom and the investment and the venture cap, about the value growth, even to help to manage for the cost efficiency and the managed link. The area that we focus in for the asset is market leadership, about the new income from the and cost efficiency, including the bad debt management and new growth. If we have the new license, we have to take a very good consideration. And about Thaicom is about the utilization of the feed management in terms of to extend the life of the satellite, like Kun Paiboon had already said. The challenge that we have to talk is about regulator, but we do not give up easily on that. The other one, the Thaicom is looking in order to reduce the dependency from the satellite business. We're going to have to try to unlock the value of the LTC in Laos, and we try to push for it to IPO. If it's possible, maybe this year, but we have to look for the readiness of the company as well. So let me go over to the new business. Kun Paiboon and Kun Somchai, Kun Anand, and INTOUCH together, we work as a committee in looking for the new business. We focus on TMT and digital space. We explore the opportunity, and the INTOUCH is very We use the new generation of our team to look for the new business. As a new business and also the venture capital, we combine team together because we believe that for flow from venture cap, we see the opportunity to create a new business. But at this moment, maybe it's not in a concrete matter, but we have the process, the deal that we do, the sourcing, and also the IP that we use. Some deals are still doing in the process of due diligence. So at least one will happen, be successful deal this year. In terms of the portfolio of the venture cap, Kun Kim will talk into detail. But I would say even we have the 200 million baht per year, but the things in our market is quite limited and will focus on the sector that concerned about the TMT. Probably in the last 5 years, we probably spent about 400 million. Even we have the 200 million is some right or some wrong. We had the 4 impairment and the 2 and then about 23% that we do the IR. If you look at the value that we had not yet done the monetize, is about 540 million. The main thing came from the UKB. For the raising fund, the next round, we have the reference in order to give the value to the team. This is the one that we got. We have the 10 cent that joined in as a, but for the other one, they increase the value, but it's still unrealized, like a Wong Nai. Maybe next one, Kun Kim can update to us about the 6 VC that we presented in the booth up there. Yeah, good afternoon. I believe that the analysts had not really give the value to the VC for the INTOUCH. So the net cash reduced from 2 billion about 4 or 5 years ago, came down to 1.7. So we invested in the VC. And is it a zero now? It's no, it's not. Like before this, that Kun Anek, the value is about 500 to 600 millions. Like the VC had estimated as an AV. They use the next round funding. It will have the higher value. We will use it as a benchmark to give the value to that and then deducted the impairment. And the value contribution came from UKB that we have the next round funding. We invested UKB. At first we invested 50 million at about 25%, and now we probably have increased in terms of capital 2-3 times. So the value increased at 2.6 times. So the INTOUCH is about 320 million in UKB. Because last year the TCI had increased the capital at a certain amount of capital in that. UKB, you probably are familiar in terms of the e-magazine. But e-magazine of the UKB, we have to admit that it's not really growing. But it came from the user-generate content. We have the partner like Tencent and UKB set up the company called UKBU, composed of fictions like novels on the platform that we call the Tan Walai and Joy Lada. Joy Lada just launched this one, and this is quite successful because it's like you read the chat. I don't know whether any of you downloaded this one or not. The view is like in 100 millions per month. And besides that, we have the music, we have the fiction log. And to partner with the Tencent, we also have the novels of the Chinese novel that had been translated in Thai. The expansion of the UKB besides the PG, we want to do into the PGC, professional generate content. UCC is a user. Anybody can say whether it's a music or novel or video, but PGC is a professional. If it's like a professional author who writes a novel on the platform of UKB. to do the video and can be the we have the maybe famous producer who joined in. And this year we will see more on this. The second company, Wong Nai. Almost everybody here know Wong Nai. Wong Nai is a food and restaurant review. Besides the food and restaurant, they also expand to beauty and spa review. Last year, Wong Nai took over Blognan and Brand Insight. Blognan is an IT, is a website IT that provides the information about the IT, and where Insight is about news, about the business news. We acquired these two companies. Both of them make money, make profits. For Wong Nai, how can we expand the Wong Nai? Besides the food and restaurant, we can do the vertical expansion like travel, parenting, pets. And besides that, they also expand. They have the plan. The plan to get into the stock market, maybe 2019. For the DGO, DGO is a fintech, the very first intake in our port, and is a company that makes money. DGO is the number one in Thai about providing MPOS and mini MBC for the bank. And almost every bank have this one, MPOS and mini EDC. They probably can, we can, as a merchant tier 2 and tier 3 for the SME or the street merchant transactions on mobile network. For shop bank, do you have this shop bank? You will get the cash back shop bank. Every time you do the transaction e-commerce through shop bank, the partner of shop banks, we have more than 1,000, and also all the e-commerce like the travel, local, booking.coms, hotels.com, Lazada, including Uber, Grab Taxi. If you use e-commerce through ShopBank, you will get cash back. We expand this one to 6 countries now, and next year we have the plan to expand to Japan, Korea, Australia. Next is Golf Dick. Originally, it's a last-minute golf reservation platform, and they diverted themselves to do the booking on the golf course. This is not the last minute anymore. Anytime you can make the booking on the golf course. And this year, they are the media partner with LPGA. So the golfer probably knows about this LPGA, and they also do the online ticket sale. Golf Dick is they're gonna raise fund. If you are interested, just let me know. Now, for the expansion of Golf Dick is going to be from end-to-end platform for the golf. Originally, we do the reservation or booking only, but they should do the content and review of the golf course up until the e-commerce platform for the golf equipment or the souvenirs about golf, and maybe expand it to overseas. The last one that we'll talk about this is Event Pop, that we invested the end of last year. Event Pop is an end-to-end event management platform. When we talk about Event Pop, you probably think about the ticketing. In fact, it's not. Event Pop provides the services from the marketing before the event, including the info providing and ticketing. And besides that, in the event itself, they also do the registration. And if there is selling in that event, we can do the cashless payment platform. After the event is over, we can provide a feedback to the organizer that how many people had been using the services, and that can be the feedback for the next event that they want to organize. For the event pop, are you familiar with S2O? The S2O just started selling the ticket for the Songkran that Woody arranging the ticket, but in 10,000 in 1 minute, the tickets got sold. And Wonder Fruit is another big event that even Pop is an provided the platform. Even Pop will expand to mice, that meeting incentive, no, I'm sorry, mice, conference and exhibition for the government, mice, and they want to expand into the non-ticketing business. If you want to arrange the marriage, okay, if you want to get married, okay, you even Pop can set up you. Oh, you cannot do that. You already know, married again. So for the VC, this is about all that I can say. For the high, is over a year now. The per day from almost a million to about, I would say, 800 million a day. The sale volume is about 3 million. If you look at these statistics, when we did the JV with them, we look at the 3 years, it's going to be the level that we break even. The challenges of this one, because we have the TV direct, only one competitors, but we have the thing that on the platform of the TV or satellite, but it's the on-air advertising. Then there can be the online channel. This one will be closely monitor when it's going to break even. In terms of partner that we joined, is still strong in this kind of business. So because this one we highlighted the VC, because the VC that when is going to be the basic or foundation to create the growth for our business, including the new business that we are about to get in. So in terms of guidance, this is in line with the Thaicom and AIS, nothing substantially different. We will maintain dividend and pass through cash that we gain from the profits. Any questions for the InTouch or the other businesses you can ask? May I invite? Please go ahead. The third row. Thank you so much. Okay, Pisut. I would like to ask the VC, if you invested 400, the value is at 600 now. With the impair, so it came down to 500. It looks quite a few. VC should be more than this one. Huh? So I don't know whether you have the second round. That had not yet realized. Yeah, this one is like an OP. Suppose all of them can raise at the second round, then the price will increase, right? Yeah, okay. But anyway, you cannot realize through the financial statement. No, yeah, we cannot do that until we exit. Yeah, until we exit, we cannot realize that. And or in the IPO, with the IPO, that will mark to the market. But in terms of accounting, we probably cannot do more than that. And how about the high shopping? At first, I thought that you would like to do this top shopping in order to get access to the e-commerce in terms of logistics and product sourcing. But still, I don't see much about this. Or maybe I missed something. I don't know. What is your strategies from now? This is the beginnings, and what is going to lead us to. What Kun Pisut talk is right. Yeah, we started to do the e-commerce on each platform to do the event on the AS. This is one from the TV platform to online. How about the cosmetics? Everybody would like to do the cosmetics.
นั่นเป็นหนึ่งใน advice ที่ทาง
That
เราให้
is one of the advice that we gave to the high shopping. High shopping. I will look at that one in the IRS. Please go ahead. Sawat from Isipat. Right now we have the new innovation about the ICO for the fundraising, and that will limit our VC in the future or not? No, not at all. I think it's a different type. ICO is because of you do the like overall for the INTOUCH. We are not just investors. We are the strategic partners with the investor, with the startup that we invested in. Whether you would suppose we have the AIS shareholders, and then the company that we invest in, they can reach to the AIS shareholders, and for the innovate, and we can get access to the innovate. And besides that, we provide knowledge, know-how, our back office provider, accountant, finance, legal support to the startup that we invested in.
เสริมให้ของคุณคิวเราไม่ได้
So
ลงทุน
for
VC
to
แบบ
can
เราใส่
we
ถุงทะเบียน
we don't invest VC as just a matter of throwing in the money. We have the mini due diligence. So many of them that quite interesting, but when we do the due diligence, they don't pass. But we don't do like a for the M&A. So the process to enter into the VNC, there's a process that we do the screening. So the important point is when we see the founder, and many times good business, but we met the founder that's not quite honest, so we just cut it off because to join in the VC depends on the owner.
เราไม่สามารถเข้าไป control เขาได้แต่ว่า
Like Kun Kim said, yes, it's true that we cannot control them. We can be the advisory board and link them to. So VC, our VC is not only in Thailand. We have Australia. We have many. So the VC that we do, some of them that we can join in the investment with a Singtel, or some funds they invested on top of the one. Some, if the INTOUCH, they say that they want to save the process of due diligence. If INTOUCH invested in it, or they want to go along to get a ride with, and then they will be the network of the VC. Then your name and your company to get also, please. Supachai Toyota. May I ask? The value that I see, the mark to market for the UKB, if you mark all of them, how much value you have. The second one, if the IPO, like a Wong Nai, okay, Wong Nai. If IPO for the Wong Nai, how much valuation for the market cap, roughly? Just help me thinking about this. The first one, OKB alone is only have. Usually, in order to get the markets, we see whether they do the raising fund next round or not. But for the others, we don't have the raise fund for the next round, so we don't have the price to benchmark with. But if you have to value it, because suppose you are the investor, if you give the estimate, the things that had past performed, how much you think is going to be in the future. Now let's see the way that we use the NAV of the startup that they use in like the next round funding of the startup once they get into the IPO. We don't want to give the value by using the multiple of VCM because we may mislead ourselves. If there's a next round funding, it's going to clear that the people are willing to pay for that particular asset. Then that's why we rely on that method. But for the IPO of the Wong Nai, we may not be able to answer today. We have to wait and see the growth of the Wong Nai and they will do the M&A more or not. Okay, so any more questions? I heard about the ICO. So instead of use our own money, we can do the ICO and invest it in the cap. We have a 1.7 billion, and the budget is about 200. We don't have to use that way. So you can keep your 1.7 billion. So we don't have to touch that. So let's 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 be clear about the rules and the regulations. Yeah, we assigned a team to watch on that, but we waited for the team to come back to the management that are you going to use this channel to raise fund? So we have assigned the homework to our team. The person who responsible is in the back. Kitisorn from Krung Si. I have the questions about VC. Suppose we invested, and at the end you said you made a mistake. The exit strategy is to set up the impairment alone, or is there any way that you can do the cut loss? Impairment is the accounting measures, but in terms of assets, we can convert our share to the other company if we have the partner, if they still see the value in the things that we impair. In the past, that happened twice, about two companies. Because for us, we said that we impair, but we have the partners who we swap shares, so they swap the shares and they take over. So our asset impair, but we receive the other shares to replace it. It's not really zero. The things that you had impaired, there were four of them. Okay, four: Meditech, Premises, Sinos, Infinity Levels, like you said, is accountant impairment. But these companies, they are still there, four of them. They still have operation up and running. The Sinos and Infinity Levels, they have the company and then took over, and then we gained 10% from this company. So in reality, it's not zero in terms of value. The play basis. Last year we thought it was close, but they found a new customer, and they just raised fund to be the down Lao is about $40,000. So that DG is a client, and Citibank, if I remember correctly. The Meditech, they have people who provide the funding. I don't understand why, but it's still there. It's still there. And they started to have the agent from Qatar to sell the equipment of the Meditech to sell it in the Middle East. And normally, before you make the impaired decision, what are the indicators of those companies? What are the indicators? We look at the traction, the growth, and the renewal, the cash flow. Some of them that we impair, but the owner started to put in money, and then for a certain period of time they can raise one. But in terms of the accountant, they don't pass. Once we had set up the impairment, we cannot come back to because of the conservative accounting approach that we use. We have the questions in the back. I'm not from. I would like to ask about VC. When you try to look for the VC, what are the criteria to invest in the VC? What are your criteria? The size or the return, or what are the criteria in the long run? The second one is about the objectives of the CEO or the executive or the VC. What would be your
จริงๆ VC
objectives
ที่
on
เราล
this
งทุน
one?
เราไม่ได้เน้น
The
เรื่องพื้น
VC
ฐาน
that we invested, we don't
เราตั้ง
emphasize
เกณฑ์
about
อยู่
the
ว่า
size.
ต่ำกว่า10
The criteria is what?
ต่ำกว่า10 ล้านบาท
Less
เราไม่
than
ลงทุน
10
เรา
million.
สเกลเรา
We
ไม่
don't.
ต่ำ
We think it's too
ผม
small
เชื่อ
to
ว่าไอ
invest.
เดียหรือ
But we
หรือ
believe that
initiative
the
ของ
idea
เจ้าของ
or
หรือ
the
founder ในสิ่ง
initiative
ที่เรา
of
ส
the
นใจ
founder is the
ถ้า
one
เกิ
that
ด
we
เจ้า
are
ของ
interested.
มี
If that
ความคิด
platform
สร้างสรรค์แล้วก็
has the
ไอเดีย
creative
ทำเป็น
idea
วิชั่น
and the
ที่ผู้บริ
ideas
หาร
can
ของ
be
บริษัท
applied
สอ
in
ดคล้อง
our
กับธุรกิจของเราเอง
subsidiaries
ที่
that
AIS
maybe
หรือว่าธุรกิจของ
complement the
ตัวนั้น
AIS
คือ
or
ตัว
the
คีย์ที่เรา
satellite,
เริ่มเป็น
those are the
potential ในอ
keys.
นาคต
Those
ที่บ
are
ริษั
the
ทสามารถเติบ
future
โตได้
potential that
จะ
can
เห็นได้ว่า
grow.
เราใช้เงิน400 ล้าน
You
ใน
see,
การลง
we
ทุนตัว
spend
ที่ดีที่สุด
400
ก็อยู่แค่
million,
ประมาณ
and the one that
ตัว
we
อื่น
spend
ที่
the
น่า
most
สน
is
ใจใช้เงิน
60,
ก็ไม่เยอะนะครับ
and then
20-30 ล้าน
20, 30 that we spend.
แต่มันจะอยู่ที่ founder
But it's the
ตัว
founders
สำคัญ
that
การ
is
ใช้
the
วิธีของ
important
เขา
point, and
business model ของ
his
เขา
or
ใน
their
การคือ
ideas and the
กลุ่ม
possibility of the business model that can grow with us.
เราเป็นนักลงทุนนะครับ
We are
จำนวนบริษัท
investor,
คงไม่ใช่
so
สิ่งที่เป้าหมาย
number of the
เราคง
company is
อยากจะ
not the target really.
ได้รับผลตอบ
We,
แทนทางการเงิน
we
นะครับ
need
นอก
the
จากนี้เนี่ย
returns,
ก็
the
ถ้า
financial
สามารถ
returns.
ทำให้กับ
If we
บริษัท
can
ได้
synergize
ก็จะ
with
เป็น
all these companies, it's going to be the
ใช่
plus.
แล้วเนี่ยเราการลงทุนของเรา
Our
ไม่ได้ลงทุน
investment
หลายวัน
is not just spread out the money.
เรามี process ที่ค่อน
We
ข้าง
have the process that's quite,
จะเรียกว่าเชี่ยว
I would say, rigid. I would say rigid
ในการที่จะ
in order to do the screening
แต่ละบริษัท
and
สัง
to
เกตว่าใน
pick
แต่ละ
up
ปี
the
เราอาจจะไม่
VC.
ใช่ถึง200 ล้าน
So you see, we did not spend 200 million on it
ถ้าดูสถิติ
every
บริษัท
year.
ที่ลงทุน VC
Look at the
เนี่ย
statistics. The
เขาบอก
company
ว่า
that
success
invested
rate
in the
มัน
even
single digit
in
คือ
the success rate is a single digit, like 100 is like very less than a single, less than 2 digits. So we try to maintain the quality of the VC in our port.
อะไรให้เห็นเป็นรูป
It may not show gain in a concrete way, but after 5 years, for we exited. The first one is about 3 years ago, and the second one it took only 1 year because the owner would like to buy back in order to do something else. So for the exit, we have the IPO. The founder would like to bring it back. So it depends on the negotiation with the owner of the VC.
สมมติว่าผมถามคร่าวๆย้อนหลังไป5 ปี
If I ask back 5 years about the return, can you give us the guesstimate
พอร์ตที่เป็น VC ของ Plus
for the VC of INTOUCH? If you look at the exit,
ประมาณ 25%
it's about
แต่ถ้าตัวที่
25%.
ยังเป็น unrealized
But those who unrealized, like this chart,
นะครับจะ
from 400
เป็น106
to 606, how many percent? That's the one.
50%
50%? Yeah, roughly.
ต้องบอกว่าเราไม่ได้หวังแค่
We have to say that we don't only expect about the minor profits. We thought that it can create new business that has more value rather than the gain. The gain came from selling.
หนึ่งใน growth strategy ของเรา
One of the growth strategy
การ
of
ลงทุน VC
our in order to
ถ้าเป็น VC
the investment in VC. If we have some VCs that maybe we invested 10%, 20%. With the one with the high potentials that can be the driver of our holdings, we can be the shareholders. We can be the fully shareholders.
ค่ะมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมไหมคะ
Any more? Any more questions?
ก็ถ้าไม่มีในวันนี้นะคะ
If none today, thank you so much everybody for the analyst meeting of the INTOUCH group,
ขอบคุณคุณอเนก
and thank you Kun Anek and Kun Kim
ให้ข้อมูลในวันนี้
for providing information for us, and we see each other again about the middle of the year. So during the half year for this one. Thank you very much. Thank you.